Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Our program will begin in 5 minutes. Please note that the bar service will close during the Fun to Need part of our program. Please also note that there is some delicious food at these food stations indoors, so please come on in and enjoy yourselves. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, our program is just about ready to begin. If you are still standing outside, I'm standing right next to you now, and we need you all to move on indoors. You can bring your drinks indoors. Make sure that you put a mask on as you go in. We're following great COVID protocols here. Grab a drink. Head on in, grab some food, find a seat, and our program is going to begin in just a moment. So please start to make your way inside. If you don't have a mask, there are masks at the registration table, as well as one of the tables right by the bar inside the front door. Thank you again, folks. We'll see you in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. Supporters, special friends, and special guests, welcome to Shining a Light for Justice. My name is Chris Hensley, and I am honored to serve as your MC and host this evening. As your MC for our program, please join me as we celebrate and support Illinois Legal Aid Online, or ILEO, the only statewide legal aid program in Illinois making justice possible 24/7 for people in need. Tonight, we'll hear from a host of leaders from around the country, all with a connection to Illinois Legal Aid Online. From a big law partner to a big-time philanthropist, a corporate entrepreneur, a judge, a solo practitioner, and a community navigator. You'll hear the reach and impact that Illinois Legal Aid Online has made in the lives of people in need. Now, if you're joining us virtually, and there are literally hundreds of people joining us virtually here tonight, I invite you to use the chat function to post your comments and your reactions throughout the program. And for those of you who are here in person, I'm going to ask you to applaud in just a moment for the chair of the board of directors of ILEO, but other than that, I'm going to ask you to hold your applause until we've premiered our impact video in just a few minutes. Now, we're here tonight to support a great cause, right? All right. Okay. I just want to make sure you're with me. I just want to make sure you're with me here. All right, so we are here to support a great cause. So in order to do that, to make a gift to ILEO throughout the night, text ILAO Benefit 2021 to 76278. Now that's on everybody's table. You are also sent a link when you registered. Again, it's ILEO Benefit 2021 altogether to 76278. All right. So for those of you who are here in person tonight, we'll ask you to hold up your bid paddle. So if you set your bid paddle number 15, did you pick your bid paddle up? Who's number 15? I saw it on the couch. For those of you who are in person, we'll ask you to hold your bid paddle up during the Fund to Need portion of the program in just a few minutes. But now this is the portion where you clap. Let's hear it for David Hamburger, the chair of the board of directors of ILEO. David, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. I think this is the first time I've ever been given exclusive applause, which is awesome. So thank you very much for that, Chris. I appreciate it. Welcome to the ILEO's 20th anniversary celebration, Shining the Light for Justice. For 20 years, ILEO has been shining a light by breaking down barriers to getting justice. When ILEO started in 2001, only 55% of American adults use the internet. Apple hadn't yet released its iPod, and it would be 6 more years until we had the chance to become obsessed with these things, right? At that time, ILEO's websites, and there were more than one, logged 297,000 visits in their debut year. Today, nearly all adults, American adults under 30 use the internet, and ILEO's now consolidated website logs 4.4 million hits a year. And while technology continues to change, systematic barriers to justice such as race, language, income, and education remain. And the pandemic has exposed the deep inequities in our society as well as our legal system. Some guy named Warren Buffett once said, "Only when the tide goes out do we learn who's been swimming naked." Tonight you will hear how ILEO provides the clothing. See how I did that? Disrupting these barriers and shining a light for justice. But first I want to recognize those who made tonight's event possible, starting with all of you. Thank you for joining us, whether it be in person or in those little boxes. To celebrate the positive impact that ILEO has made and is making in the lives of people across Illinois. We're thrilled to have the opportunity to share our story with those in the room and those joining us from elsewhere, including our friends from Georgia, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, New York, and Texas. And if I've missed anybody, you're not here to call me out on it, so it's all right. We've received exceptional support from individuals, law firms, vendors, and corporations. And tonight, I would like to first acknowledge our extraordinary justice sponsors. Karen Gatsis Anderson and Kimball Anderson, our gracious benefit hosts. Kirkland and Ellis, Loeb and Loeb, Quilling, Sealander, Downs, Winslet, and Moser, Reed Smith, Round Table Group, Shuckett and Associates, the Sidley Austin Foundation, and Simpson, Thatcher, and Bartlett. And our equity sponsors, Kaplan, Heckler, and Fink, and Latham and Watkins. ALEO's mission is to simplify the law so that all people can seek justice. And your generous support helps ensure that we can fulfill that calling from the public housing residents in Garfield Park to those on the impoverished streets of East St. Louis. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your incredible support. All of you should feel gratified by the real difference that ALEO is making in our fellow Illinoisans' lives. And now, let's hear from one of our justice sponsors.
Thank you, Dave. Good evening. My name is Russ Rosenzweig. I'm the CEO and one of the founders of Round Table Group, which has been providing expert witness recommendations and referrals since 1995, which was the year that Kimball Anderson told me that that would be a good business idea. And basically, Kimball and Karen Anderson catalyzed my life's work professionally. So it's a double honor to be here on the auspicious occasion of the 20th anniversary of ALEO and to have the honor of introducing Kimball and Karen. Now, 25 years later, Round Table Group, my company, we like to consider ourselves, we call ourselves the experts on experts. And I finally got the trademark on that recently, which was also because Kimball told me to pursue that. And, you know, speaking of the experts, the real great experts, the expert of experts are Kimball and Karen, who, as some of, most people in Chicago know Kimball and Karen. And they are not only a great case study in philanthropy and justice and pro bono work, but it's also a story of true love because Kimball and Karen met freshman year, first week at the University of Illinois and also went to law school together. Some of you know that Kimball and Karen were honored last year as the early adopter awardees at ALEO's virtual benefit last year. Basically, they funded a fellowship so that top law school graduates could work at places like ALEO. If you ever wondered how ALEO has such incredible talent, elite lawyer talent working here, it's in part because of that fellowship. Like my own story, it was life-changing and game-changing for people who are in the social justice and legal aid world who received one of these fellowships. Right, Terry? And speaking of early adopters, my company, Round Table Group, likes to think of itself as an early adopter, all thanks to Kimball, because there was no such thing as an expert witness search and referral industry in '95 when I met Kimball. And I'd like to just tell you a quick story of meeting Kimball and getting to know Karen and catalyzing our whole company and industry. Basically, I got invited to Kimball's beautiful corner office at Winston and Strawn. I wore my best and only suit and tie. And I explained to Kimball that we were building the world's first and only and largest consortium of professors, basically a consulting firm of professors. We had spent 5 years meeting professors all over the country, telling them that, rock stars have business managers and agents who handle their commercial lives. And that's the role we've been playing for professors. And Kimball just offhand said, they could be expert witnesses. It's just so time-consuming and inefficient for litigators to find their experts. And by the way, I have an immediate need myself for a computer science professor for one of my patent cases. And so basically, we spent the whole week, me and Chris here and my other partner, Bob, who's on virtually, spent the whole week calling every computer science professor in the country, and we found 10 good candidates, and Kimball said, good, why don't you messenger over their CVs? We couldn't afford a messenger service, so I got on my bike and dressed as a messenger. This was before bike lanes. And showed up again at 35 West Wacker, same concierge in the lobby, but this time he wasn't so friendly to me as he was the previous week, and immediately showed me downstairs where the mail room is, where they do kind of intakes for that sort of thing. And Kimball called back and interviewed one of the experts, John Hayes, Professor Hayes from the University of Michigan Computer Science Department. He's still there, and hired my company for professor service, and that was the first expert witness we ever engaged with a litigator. Last week, we did our 50,000th search, and we have been acquired by Thomson Reuters. We bought ourselves back right before the pandemic. During these years, Kimball himself helped us through more than a couple of our own legal disputes over the years. So not only has Kimball inspired us in this way I'm describing, catalyzing our life's work, but in recent years, Karen has been equally inspiring us as we finally, all these years later, are able to turn to more pro bono and philanthropic work. In the early days of the pandemic, Karen inspired us. We had access to masks, thousands of masks before most people did through our university connections. And Karen inspired us to send them to many students at the school system she serves on the board of. And I think I also donated all my furniture recently to her school, which was really helpful. Kimball and Karen have, coached us on setting up a whole pro bono expert witness business, and especially they've inspired us to support Aleo. I just never, my whole life, would have imagined that I could be a justice sponsor with this incredible list of fellow sponsors. And Kimball and Karen have just inspired us so much, and I hope they will inspire you too to open your hearts and checkbooks to help those in need of justice. So ladies and gentlemen, I welcome the benefit co-chairs, Karen Gatsis and Kimball Anderson.
Well, it's a thrill to see so many friends and colleagues here. Thank you so much for coming out. When Terry Ross asked Karen and I to co-chair this benefit, we said, well, okay, but I was really, really tired of Zoom benefits and with all due respect to the members of the judiciary here, really tired of Zoom calls with judges. So I imposed a condition. I said, okay, but only if we can try to do this in person and outside. And the Aleo staff, Terry Ross and Alexis Markov, they pulled it off, and I think we're all really thrilled to be here in person and to have such a gorgeous night. So thank you. And thanks to all the sponsors. I think it's a record year for sponsorship, so I want to join Dave Hamburger, who used to be at Winston & Strawn, now has gone on to bigger and greater things, but he's the board chair and has done a fantastic job leading the organization. I was very interested to hear the story about the founding of Roundtable Group, because it just occurred to me that maybe I should put in for some kind of royalty on maybe 20%, Russ. I don't know what an appropriate amount is, but Russ and I have been friends since about 1993. I had a lot more hair and a lot more energy then, but I remember Russ in his suit, and I think Russ might have had a little less hair then, but he's looking pretty good after all these years, and we've been good friends. And I think Russ is right. He and his colleagues, Chris Cronus here, Chris's wife Jen, they're both co-founders and leaders of Roundtable Group. They truly are innovators in their own right. They kind of founded this industry that all of us litigators rely on now, this industry of expert witness search firms. They are the best in the business. And I say that having sampled some of their competitors. They are really, really good at what they do. So congratulations to the Roundtable Group, Russ and Chris and Jen. Thank you so much for being here in person tonight. It's really quite an honor. And I also want to call out, another innovator who's here. Terry Ross didn't put herself on the program, but as you know, she's the executive director of Aleo, and she's just been a fabulous leader and innovator. And Karen and I go back some time with Terry, because Karen and I also have funded for the last 18 years a fellowship through the Chicago Bar Foundation. It's called immodestly we call it the Anderson Fellowship. But Terry is one of our fellows, and Terry has really made us so proud of all the great work she's done at Aleo and all that she's given to our community. And I remember actually the birth of Aleo about 20 years ago. I was on the Chicago Bar Foundation board of directors, and Aleo came before the board with a grant proposal, which we debated, and there were some detractors, but they were all wrong. Nobody else was doing it, and now Aleo has just really opened access to justice statewide in a way that was unimaginable 20 years ago, and in a way that has really been remarkable. So thank you to Terry and all of your colleagues for everything that you've done for the community. And Terry, you've really made us proud as an Anderson Fellow. And I suspect all of you by now are familiar with Aleo, but one of the statistics I was most impressed about is they're getting like 10,000 hits a day by people who need access to justice. They may not know whether they need a lawyer. They may not even know whether they have a legal problem or not, but that is just fantastic access to justice. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Aleo, and it's really great to see all of you here in person tonight. And with that, I guess I am going to turn it over to Karen for a few more remarks and call on Karen to introduce one of our guests of honor.
So I want to tell you a little more about Aleo's work, especially as it evolved during the pandemic. Aleo played a unique and pivotal role by providing real-time information and direction to people in need, especially our Black and brown neighbors and communities who've been hardest hit. While Aleo serves families of all identities, its free legal services are definitely meant for those who face the biggest barriers to justice, income and education, with intersections of race, ethnicity, and gender. Of Illinoisans served in fiscal 21, 92% identified as below 300% of the federal poverty level. 71% were women, whereas in our state generally our population is 51% women. More than 60% are mothers caring for children, and 29% identified as Black. Aleo empowers these people to use the law to get the justice they need by distilling complicated laws into simple, plain language direction. Aleo equips Illinoisans with the tools they need to understand and enforce their legal rights. In the same fiscal year just ended, 2021, we served more than 2 million Illinoisans. That's 16% of our population, or 1 in 6. And although that number is staggering for an organization of Aleo's size, it demonstrates just how much more work there is to be done. With your support tonight, both those who are here, those who are here virtually, anybody else you can encourage to donate, Aleo will expand its efforts to connect with people in Illinois' hardest to reach neighborhoods and communities, places of humble beginnings, but also enormous potential, where our next two speakers grew up.
It is unacceptable in a civilized society that the only time a poor person can get into court with a lawyer is when he or she commits a crime.
The individuals that I'm coming in contact with through Aleo, they often tell me that they can't get any help anywhere else.
Many who are eligible for help never seek it. They don't know they have a legal problem. They don't know help is available, or don't know where to go for help.
They look at the legal system as climbing a mountain, and they never get to the top of it. But Aleo allows them to feel empowered.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago in probably one of the most impoverished neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. I think many people who come from impoverished backgrounds or backgrounds where they don't have a lot of access to the justice system think that the system is stacked against them because they have seen the system play out in a really negative way for people that they know, people that they love, or even for themselves. And a lot of times the reason that that happens is because they don't have the knowledge and information and resources necessary to make sure that the system works for them. When I was a prosecutor, one of the things I saw on the defendant's side of the case was many times their issues stem from a lack of knowledge and a lack of information. I would often try to direct and steer people in a way that helped them to navigate the system so that they can do what they needed to do to get their driver's license back or fix their license plates and things like that. And unfortunately in Illinois, driving with a suspended license and several other driving offenses are actually criminal offenses. I can think of many situations growing up and people that I saw trying to navigate the legal system who could have benefited immensely from the resources that Aleo provides.
In any given week in 2021, Aleo will help about 85,000 people. That's the maximum capacity of Soldier Field and the United Center combined. 63% of Illinoisans find Aleo via their mobile phone, most between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m. or on weekends when traditional offices are closed. Aleo serves more people in the dead of night than an average Starbucks store serves in a day.
When I came into Aleo, I realized the information that they was giving out was not in my community. And Aleo was not in my community. I told my supervisor that Aleo was a well-kept secret.
More than 60 million American families have incomes at or below 125% of the federal poverty line. 71% of these households experienced at least one civil legal problem in the past year. Low-income Americans seek professional legal help for only 20% of the civil legal problems they face. Only 13% of individuals looking for professional legal assistance search online.
Being a community navigator, it made me stick my chest out a little bit more because I'm giving information that is needed inside of my community. I'm able to help somebody ward off what they might think is an impossibility, to show them that the possibilities are there.
One of the reasons that more people are not taking advantage of ILEO and everything that it has to offer is simply because they don't know that it exists. So we have to get the word out to the community in an effective way so that they know that help is out there. They're not on their own, and that there is a solution to the problem that they're facing.
Aleo created a website with simplicity. It simplifies their journey when they're going through this maze of madness. And this is the beauty of Aleo. You got a roadmap, you got a blueprint, if you will. And if you can stick to it, you'll be successful.
I'm personally committed to the success of the organization and making sure that everyone knows about it and making sure that everyone has access to it and access to justice.
Dealing with Aleo allowed me a platform. It gives me that extra if you will, to keep doing what I'm doing and to be able to share solid information makes me feel good because I see them feeling better. And I don't consider it my job as a job, it's my passion.
Thank you. At Illinois Legal Aid Online, we believe the law is for everyone. We believe that many people, empowered with the right tools and guidance, can learn and act on their legal rights and be their own best advocates and get the justice they seek. Excuse me. That guidance can be transformative when it comes from passionate community leaders like Jerome.
Thank you, Craig. We need your help tonight to bring Aleo's services to communities that's historically been oppressed. We, like Craig and I grew up in, knowledge is power in our communities, and we need to get it there. Aleo simplified the law for us. I'm able to bring it out and share it with my communities. And with that said, Craig.
Thank you. Aleo is freely available to all and may be used anonymously. There is no paywall or demand that users surrender their personal information to gain access. By simplifying the law so that people can seek justice and making their services available to all, Aleo opens the doors to justice. Please help us amplify our work towards a more equitable justice system where all people get a chance at justice, especially those with the least power and knowledge. Thank you for your support tonight, and please donate generously.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, keep it going for Jerome and Craig here. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Keep it going, that's all right. You can make some noise now. So, we are here tonight to make an impact and to ensure that help for people in neighborhoods like the ones where Craig and Jerome grew up, where so that help is available to them. While the people who have been most affected over the last 18 months by COVID-19 have few places to turn, they also have the most to gain from Aleo's help. For them and all of those who lie awake with nowhere to turn but their mobile phone, Aleo truly does shine a light for justice. So here's what we're going to do. As I reminded you at the beginning of the night, we're here to raise money. So I need you to, if you're here with me in the room, I need you to grab your bid paddle, all right? So bid paddle number 28, you've got the gist, right? I need you guys to do a little paddle practice with me. If you've got a bid paddle, and you all should, grab your bid paddle and put it up above your head and wave it around like it's on fire, all right? So we're just warming up here, all right? Now, if you all want to say, put $2,500 on my credit card, I'll start calling out numbers and we'll get back to the party really fast. But I suspect we're going to have to earn this the old-fashioned way, all right? So our goal here tonight is $50,000, and as you can see on the monitors, we are already 1/3 of our way to that goal, all right? So I need the folks in this room and the folks who are watching from home online to help us raise that additional $34,000 or so. But I also want to remind you that last year, when this event was completely virtual, the goal for this portion of the event was $40,000. We'll chalk that $50,000, $40,000 difference up to the inflation over the last year. But when it was $40,000, you all came together and raised $46,000, all right? So I'm giving you permission here again tonight to exceed our goal of $50,000, all right? Are you all with me? One more time, are you with me here tonight? All right. So the money that we raise tonight will support Aleo's diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, so much in need after the pandemic has laid bare our societal inequities. It's going to ensure increased engagement of historically oppressed communities. So, again, raise your paddles or text to give in support of our continued efforts to make Aleo's programs and services more equitable and more inclusive. Doing so will better ally Aleo with those families and individuals who are most in need of justice. For our virtual guests, I again remind you to make a gift to Aleo by texting ILAO benefit 2021, 2021, to 76278, or just access the link that you received this evening. For in-person guests, again, I ask you to hold up your bid paddle, and we're going to go ahead and get that started right now. I want to remind everybody that every single gift here tonight makes a world of difference. We're going to start in the stratosphere, and we're going to work our way all the way down. If it's okay with you all, I don't have a mask on, but if it's okay with you as you raise your paddles, I might come out, give you an elbow bump. Is everybody okay with that? If anybody isn't okay with it, I'll just stay up here. I work for a hospital. I'm double vaxxed, so I think we're good. So we're going to start at $10,000, and $10,000 can make a world of difference for Aleo. $10,000 covers the costs of keeping our eviction and rental assistance tools up to date for tenants at risk of homelessness. Do I have $10,000 already right here? Let's make some noise for bid paddle number 35. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, where was that elbow bump? There we go. Thank you so much. Another hand for bid paddle number 35. All right, so now my challenge, I was only halfway through my first sentence, number 35. Thank you so much. If I keep reading, will you keep raising? Will anybody else in the room keep raising if I keep reading? Okay, what I have to say is important. I want you to hear what $10,000 can do, and I hope that it will inspire you. I hope that either Craig or any of the other speakers up here tonight inspired you to give from the heart, all right? Where was I? So tenants at risk of homelessness, right? In response to continually changing laws, we have to update the eviction and rental assistance tools that Aleo provides because of continually changing laws, because of executive orders, because of rental payment programs, and because of court orders during COVID. In the last fiscal year, Aleo made nearly 2,000 updates to its empowerment tools, and that's not including the 220 translation updates in Spanish and Polish. Keeping our tools accurate and up to date is essential in sustaining the trust of our users and to ensure that we continue to provide the best information we can to those most in need. All right, So now that I've said that, is there anybody else in the room who is as improbably generous as bidder number 35 here, that would raise their paddle here and join us tonight and be a hero, match that $10,000 gift? I know it's a big number, but is there anybody else in the room at $10,000? Right here, right now. This is your opportunity. Now, what I didn't tell you is that I'm a fundraiser in my day job as well, and so I'm okay with silence, all right? So bid paddle number 35, tell me your name. Christina. Thank you, Christina. Christina and Brent, thank you for your generosity. Before we move on to our $5,000 level, I just want to ask one more time if there's anybody at that $10,000 level, because that will get us to this $50,000 goal so much more quickly. All right. So now, if you thought even for a second, your wrist twitched on your bid paddle about that $10,000 level that Christina and Brent just so generously supported Aleo with, if you thought even for a second, this now is your opportunity at $5,000. So at $5,000, you can support an Aleo community navigator, like Jerome started out as, for an entire year. These community navigators conduct at least 10 Know Your Rights trainings in their community. So it's somebody from the community, in the community, that makes a world of difference. And each navigator educates about 200 people. So at $5,000, is there anybody who will join me? Is there anybody who will raise their paddle right here, right now, and say, yes, I'm with Aleo, I believe in what Aleo is doing, and they'll raise their paddle at $5,000. We have 2 bid paddles in the air. Number 19, thank you so much. I'm going to come out there again. Bid paddle number 19 at $5,000. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate your support. And bid paddle number 55. Hoorah! That's another $10,000 for Aleo right there, right now. All right, so it took us 2 to join you, but we've doubled our money so far, all right? Anybody else at that $5,000 level? I'm greedy, this is my job. Let me think about this for a second. Raise your paddle if you're retired. All right, so nobody's retired. You know what that means? It means we're all going back to work tomorrow, and we're going to make more money, okay? Okay? Now, I've watched the stock market this year, and I know that we've all made a lot of money in that regard as well. So, I ask you one more time, is there anybody so generous that they would raise their paddle right here, right now, for Aleo at this $5,000 mark? I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't stand here and watch you all look at me like, when is he going to stop asking? All right. Okay. All right. So we're going to go on down. Let's give one more round of applause for our 2 bidders at $5,000. We're going to move along. We're going to move along. We're now at $37,900. Folks, there are people online at home making gifts. We're at 76% of our goal already. I think we can blow through this. I need to know, though, are you still with me? Okay. All right. That makes me happy. I've shooken you down for $10,000 and $5,000, and most of you are still with me. All right. So now we're going to go on to our $2,500 level. $2,500 distills a 10,000-word statute, like the one on expungement and sealing, into a digestible set of online tools with a reading level that's comprehensible by the people who need to comprehend it. Does that make sense? It makes a ton of sense. It doesn't make, I used to work for the state of Illinois, it doesn't make sense to them. So they write at a third-year college student level. And then they expect people like Jerome to be able to translate that. Jerome's story is fantastically amazing. He did all of this before the internet. He did it all with legal books while sitting in prison, right? So today, people have Aleo as their trusted source of information and truth, all right? But we have to be able to take those complicated laws, like the law on expungement and sealing, and get it down to a level where everybody can understand that. And that takes the effort of exceptionally well-trained people who can help write that in a way that everybody will understand it. So I ask you now, will you please raise your paddle to help fund that type of activity at $2,500? Here we go. Bid paddle number 69 at $2,500. Right over here, bid paddle number 8. Everybody gets a fist bump. 69, hoorah, at $2,500. Bid paddle number 8 at $2,500. Thank you so much. Bid paddle number 50. Thank you. The suspense. Bid paddle 50. Thank you so much. At $2,500. Anybody else in the room at $2,500? Terry, thank you so much. Bid paddle number 20 at $2,500. Who else wants to join these amazingly generous individuals at $2,500? Look at this. We're at $45,900. Give yourselves all a round of applause. That's pretty amazing to be at that level already. We're at 97% of goal now, $48,000. Can we blow through it? I think we can. All right, we have 4 more levels. Okay, I hope that you'll choose a level that you're comfortable at. But I also want to give you permission. If the other bidders in the room, if the other folks raising their paddles in the room here tonight have inspired you to work back upstream, you have my permission to do that, all right? 10,000 is still a lonely place here tonight, folks. We can make this happen. For you folks at home, too, all right? Talking to you, too. There's one other 10,000 that came in online. Okay, fantastic. Let's give that individual a hand for their generous support. So it's not as lonely as I thought it was. That's fantastic. All right, we're at $48,400. We're now at our $1,000 level. And typically when I'm doing this, this is where the cavalry arrives and paddles are just coming up all over the place. And so I hope that will happen again here. So $1,000 empowers more than 1,200 consumers to exercise their rights to stop a debt collector from harassing them at home and, more importantly, at work, right? A no-contact letter to an aggressive collector grants a worried customer real peace of mind. Now, $1,000 also pays for 3 community navigator training sessions, educating Black Illinoisans in high-crime neighborhoods about police interactions. This ensures that Jerome's volunteers can give 3 Know Your Rights trainings on eviction rights and rental assistance. All right, so 2 really amazing things that a gift of $1,000 can do. I'm going to step off the stage right now because I know those paddles are going up in the air. Let's see, right here, bid paddle number 65 at $1,000. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And bid paddle number 24 at $1,000. Bid paddle number 28, Dave, thank you so much, at $1,000. Bid paddle number 56 right here at $1,000. Another bid paddle in the air, number 5 at $1,000. Tina, thank you so much. Bid paddle number 31 at $1,000. Bid paddle number 34 at $1,000. This table came to play tonight. All right, over here, bid paddle number 7. Marcelo, thank you so much, at $1,000. Bid paddle number 13 at $1,000. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And bid paddle number 48 at $1,000. Hoorah, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Be sure to put those gifts in online so that we can see these amazing numbers on the screen jump up. All right, so anybody else at $1,000? All right, thank you so much. We're at $54,400. We're at 109% of goal. Give yourselves some love, ladies and gentlemen. That's fantastic. All right. Just 3 more levels to go. $500 is our next level, and $500 will educate 403 Spanish speakers on their immigration rights via our Community Navigator program in the western suburbs of Chicago. That's pretty amazing. $500 also covers the cost of updating our voting rights tools into English, Spanish, and Polish. And maybe not in Illinois, but man, around the country, that is more important work than ever before right now. These tools, these voting rights tools, were used by more than 20,000 people on Aleo's website in 2020. So those are a couple ideas of what your gift at $500 can do. Who would like to be the first paddle in the air at $500? Anybody at all at $500? Thank you. Over here, bid paddle number 15. Thank you so much. Bid paddle 15, I'm going to give you an elbow bump, Alexa. Thank you. Over the last couple months, I was having these planning calls with Alexa, and every time I would say her name, my Alexa would start talking to me in the background. You got to get that all the time. All right, Craig, thank you so much. At $500, bid paddle number 2. Bid paddle number 45 at $500. I'm going to sneak through here. Thank you very much. Bid paddle number 58 at $500. And bid paddle, hoorah, number 16 at $500. Who else? Who wants to be our last $500 bidder? I've got you, bid paddle 16. Thank you so much. And bid paddle in the back, number 57 at $500. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. See, I said I was going to do this for everybody, so I'm going to come all the way to the back of the room. All right, looking good, looking good. Okay, how you feeling, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody feeling good? Feeling good? All right, we've got some amazing speakers coming up, but we've got 2 more levels. We're getting greedy now. We're at $65,000, almost $66,000, 131% of our goal. This is fantastic. We are really powering Aleo on to its mission, all right? So 2 more levels, $250. $250 helps 240 domestic abuse survivors with personalized protection orders to keep them and their families safe. Domestic abuse affects people of all incomes and identities, and use of Aleo's 24/7 protective orders tools has risen more than 90% since the pandemic began. So, I'm a dad of 3 daughters. This is important to me. I would love to see some generosity in the room at this $250 level. Is there anybody in the room that would raise their paddle right here, right now? Anybody online at home that would raise their paddle at $250? Let's make it happen, ladies and gentlemen. I've got right here in front, bid paddle number 43 at $250. Thank you so much. Bid paddle number 29 at $250. Yes, thank you. Number 29 at $250. Number 51 at $250. Thank you. This table, all right. 67, thank you so much. 33, thank you so much. And 38, thank you so much, each at $250. But we're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. There's been some more paddles raised up front. So, ooh, bid paddle number 1. There we go. $250. Thank you so much. All right, and one more, bid paddle number 46 at $250. Thank you. Yeah, make some noise for all those donors at $250. Am I missing anybody in the room? All right, one more time back up on stage. We're going to go to our final level of the night. But again, I remind you, you can work back upstream. You can work downstream as well. That's okay. Typically what I say is, if your children ran a lemonade stand over the Labor Day weekend and raised $17.83, and that's what you want to donate in their honor, please feel free to donate anything you want, all right? But now we're at the $100 level. It's our final level, and $100 will translate a new emergency food stamps tool into Spanish, allowing needy families to supplement their diets at no cost. And that's important, all right? So, for those of you watching at home, I ask you to give generously. For those of you in the room here tonight, this is your last opportunity. If we haven't already convinced every single person in this room to raise their paddle, I hope that you will do so again right now at $100. Who's with me at $100? Bid paddle number 40 back here at $100. Thank you so much. Who's going to join bid paddle number 40? Yeah, bid paddle 39, neighbors. All right, I like it. Thanks, Brian, 39. And 64 right here at $100. Thank you so much. Anybody else at $100? 3 is company, but 4 is a crowd, folks. Anybody want to join them? That would be all right with me. Last chance, all in, all done. Look at what we have made happen here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing. We came here to raise $50,000 in 10 or 15 minutes, and you all raised $71,250. Thank you so much for your amazing generosity. That is truly, truly special. Okay. So now I'm going to welcome back up our benefit co-chairs, Karen and Kimball Anderson. And we're going to continue on with our program. We've got some amazing speakers still to come.
About the speaking order here, so let me just say thank you, overwhelming generosity from everybody here in the room and remotely. Thank you.
Tonight, Kimball and I have the honor to introduce our keynote speaker and early adopter awardee and good friend, Tina Chen. Illinois Legal Aid Online created its Early Adopter Award in recognition of the organization's forward-thinking approach. ALEO itself was an early adopter starting 20 years ago, the same year as LegalZoom and Wikipedia. The Early Adopter Award pays tribute to leaders who are innovators in their fields and recognizes those who embrace change and influence societal transformation through visionary thinking. Early adopters pioneer new initiatives and are the embodiment of the successful use of new ideas. Tina Chen's innovative spirit and transformative ideas were rooted in personal experience. As the daughter of Chinese immigrants, a mother of 2 children, and a woman litigator, Tina endured the pressures and power differentials at play for minority working women, all the while recognizing that she had privileges many women of color in the workforce do not. Long before our corporations and law firms were talking about equity and inclusion, Tina led a charge to prioritize these values in our profession and our society. Tina has made a career of standing up for working women. She is best known for her work as part of President Obama's administration as an assistant to the President and Chief of Staff to First Lady Michelle Obama. While there, she served as the Executive Director of the White House Council on Women and Girls and helped form the White House Task Force to protect students from sexual abuse, sexual assault. Tina's accolades started as early as 1992 when she successfully argued before the Supreme Court in Artist M versus Souter. She has been and remains an active advocate of women and minorities in the legal industry and has been honored for her leadership in the legal field by the Women's Bar Association of Illinois, the Anti-Defamation League, the Chicago Lawyer Magazine, and the American Bar Association, to name a few. For her lifelong focus on addressing diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace, we are honored to present the 2021 Early Adopter Award to Tina Chen. We welcome her remarks.
Oh my. It's been a while to be in a room like this, in an event like this, and it's quite humbling to get that kind of an introduction. So I'm really very grateful to Kimball and Karen. Just in keeping with the Kimball and Karen, how we know each other theme of the evening, we, I think, have known each other for a very, very long time. Our children were Montessori preschool children together. Kimball and I had been on the Chicago Bar Foundation board together. We were famously part, and Bob Glaze will remember this, we were bidders for a Brunswick pool table, at the CVF fundraiser, which I won. It's been like 25 years, and I still remind him of that. Right. My daughter is actually now the teacher of Kimball and Karen's grandson at Near Montessori, so that's how long this has gone on. But always throughout, and you all know that, at Aleo, at CPF, at countless other legal aid organizations in town, pro bono, promotion organizations in town, our profession, Montessori programs, programs that exist in this city to serve those in need. Somewhere along the pathway, you're going to find the hand of Kimball and Karen Anderson in that work. And I am so admiring of the two of you and what you have done and what you have built and the legacy that you have created out of your generosity, your dedication, and your leadership in this city, and we are all so much the better for it. Thank you. Now, I will have to say that no matter what I have been doing for the past decade in government and advocacy, I consider myself first and foremost an attorney. It is where I have spent most of my career. It has molded, as they tell you in law school, how I think and approach the world. And I'm proud of our profession. I'm always proud to be in the company of lawyers, and I'm especially proud and honored to be recognized by lawyers. So I really thank you for this award, which means a great deal. And I also want to thank you for what you do every day at Aleo. I had the good fortune during my years in practice, like some of you, to work at a large law firm with big clients who could afford to hire us to reap the benefits and protections of our legal system, a system that allowed our clients to resolve their problems fairly, enhance their business prospects, dream up and realize new ventures, and understand and protect their rights. And even now, when you look around the world, it is that system of laws that allows this country to be the international engine of innovation and growth, to continue as a beacon of opportunity for all, to protect key fundamental liberties. But it only works if, as our bedrock principles hold, if justice is fairly available to all. And here we know we fall short, as there are too many hurdles to the average person in getting the legal advice and representation they need. And that is why what you are doing at Aleo is so important and so impressive. You are making the law accessible and understandable. You're providing people with the tools to know and protect their rights, and you are the beacon of opportunity for all. And you're doing it at scale in a way that meets people when and where they need the information. I'm especially struck by the fact that 100,000 people reach out to you from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. every month. That is when working people who are holding down 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet are sitting at their kitchen tables struggling to find out how to stay in their homes, to get the benefits they're entitled to get their kids into schools. In every era, and because we're lawyers and we believe in our own importance, we say there is no more important time to be a lawyer, to fight for justice, to make our system of laws work for all than the one we're living in right now. But I do have to say that the events we have lived through in recent years, months, and literally days have underscored how important the rule of law is. Whether it's racial justice, health protections and benefits, sexual harassment of restaurant workers, or voting rights, lawyers need to be active in every realm. And this is especially true when it looks like our systems of justice may be breaking down. I was struck by an interview I watched last week with Mark Elias, who's one of the premier election law and voting rights attorneys in the country. Mark left his large law firm recently to work full-time on protecting voting rights. And he was asked by the interviewer what the prospects were for his most recent lawsuit against discriminatory voting laws, given the composition of the courts now. And Mark responded that he believes in justice and the rule of law and will continue as a lawyer to use the tools of our system to pursue justice. So that underscored for me the additional urgency behind our role as lawyers, not just to make the law accessible to all, but to also continue our role in the system to defend that system, to push our courts to do the right thing, even when they seem predisposed not to call attention to the changes we need, whether legislatively or electorally, when our laws are insufficient. So I'll say this is not exactly the speech I had planned to give back when Kimball, called me a few months ago. Not just because I'm no longer at Time's Up, but rather it's the most recent events in Texas that have really caught me up, have alarmed me, have alarmed all of us, as apparently even a constitutional right that has stood for 50 years is not recognized by a politically motivated court, and our highest court. And that there likely will be more states following the Texas example in the coming months, well before the Supreme Court makes a decision on this constitutional right. And this erosion of our justice system isn't the only threat. So it's a time right now where I believe it is not hyperbole to say there is no more important time to be a lawyer, to stand up for justice, to reinforce our rule of law. And there's no more important way to do that, not just through big constitutional cases, but also in the individual ways in which our legal system can help people live their daily lives, the very work you are doing here with Aleo. That is how the people's faith in their government, their laws, our democratic system is either forged or it's broken. Because if our laws cannot help even those with the least among us to live lives of dignity and opportunity, then we will have no foundation to fight this larger erosion. So I cannot say strongly enough how critically important your work at Aleo is. You are that foundation. You are making those laws accessible. You are the people who will demonstrate to everyone that this system of laws works. It works for individuals. It works to make their lives better. And it is worth fighting for and protecting. So thank you. Thank you for this honor, but more importantly, thank you for everything you do at Aleo. Good night.
Tina, thank you again very much, and congratulations on all of the work, the impact that you have made over the last decade and throughout your career. Something that Tina said struck me. We're raised from age 5 to recite the Pledge of Allegiance that ends with the 2 words, or 3 words, justice for all, right? And that's what Aleo's fighting for. That's what you all have made possible here tonight, to advance and to expand the mission that Aleo does. And Tina, you are right there in our corner, so thank you so much for being here with us tonight and for your comments. It's now my pleasure to introduce Aleo's former and longtime executive director, Lisa Kolpoys. As Aleo's leader for 17 years, Lisa, better than anyone, knows the trials, the tribulations, and the triumphs of Aleo's first 2 decades. Much of Aleo's success rests on the fundamental efforts put in by Lisa and all those who have served this organization over the last 20 years, including its staff, including its board members, including its young professional board members, its donors, and its volunteers. To those of you here and listening tonight, thank you for setting Aleo up for success. Now, our next honoree is one of those people, one of those bedrock people that made Aleo everything it was. And to introduce him, please welcome Lisa Colpoys.
Thanks, Chris. And congratulations, Tina. Thank you for your remarks and your exceptional work on behalf of women. For the past 3 years, Illinois Legal Aid Online has presented the Legacy Award to an individual or entity who has made a lifelong commitment to Aleo in the furtherance of its mission. I was honored to receive this award 3 years ago. As a prior recipient, I'm delighted to present it tonight to Jerry Richardson. In his day job, Jerry is managing director at the Claro Group, where he consults clients who are dealing with complex litigation and insurance matters. He is also an avid golfer, a proud Illini alum, you can see it on his mask, and a generally all-around great guy. Jerry served on the Illinois Legal Aid Online Board of Directors from 2008 to 2017. He was treasurer for 7 of those years, which gives him the distinction of holding the record as the longest-running officer to serve Aleo, and he certainly was one of the most devoted. Jerry served as treasurer during a time of enormous growth for Aleo. With his guidance, the organization more than doubled in size, and the budget grew from $750,000 a year to $1.6 million. All the while, Jerry ensured that we upheld our fiduciary duties and the organization was fiscally sound. Let's hear it for the accountants. Even after terming off Aleo's board, Jerry has continued to generously support Aleo's mission. I am personally very grateful for Jerry's calm demeanor and leadership, as there were a few times as executive director when I was not so sure how we were going to stay afloat. He made sure that we not only stayed afloat, but we thrived on his watch. Jerry's easygoing manner, humor, and expertise helped Aleo to get to where it is today, poised towards its next phase of progress. On behalf of the past and current staff and board members, thank you, Jerry, for your important and lasting contributions. I am honored to present the 2021 Legacy Award to Jerry Richardson.
This will be short. Thank you, Lisa. Congratulations, Tina. It's been a privilege to serve with others on the board and the staff at Illinois Legal Aid Online. They do good work. They're worthy of your support. Thank you all for your support. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thanks.
Jerry, that was the best acceptance speech ever. So. And I love your Illini mask. As a fellow Illini, Osceola. ILL, yes. Go Illini. And Tina, you know, thank you for all you've done, not only for our community here, but for the country at large. I do want to share with you, the rest of you, though, that are watching, that, you know, Tina has that broad, beautiful smile. She's friends with everybody. Everybody loves Tina. But there's another darker side, which she alluded to, a very sneaky side. She alluded to the infamous Brunswick pool table incident at the Chicago Bar Foundation. It was one of those silent auction before the electronic days where you put your bid down in hand, and I was really hovering over that table, and all night long I kept putting a bid in, and all night long as she came by and upped my bid, but I thought I finally had her, and Bob Glaves was counting down the end of the silent auction, 10, 9, 8, and I thought I had it. And here comes Tina with a shove, and she gets the last bid in, and I lost the table. So now you know the other side of Tina. But congratulations and thank you. Now, as our evening closes, I'm going to call upon my friend and former Illinois Supreme Court Justice Tom Kilbride for some closing remarks. First, a few comments about Tom that you probably already know. He was on the Illinois Supreme Court for, I think, 20 years, and from 2010 through 2013, his fellow justices elected him to serve as the Chief Justice. And, you know, he just did wonderful work. And last year he retired. Now here comes a really important part, at least from my perspective, that you may not know. And that is, for the last 20 years, Tom, and often accompanied by his wife Mary, who's here, have driven over from Rock Island to Chicago to attend almost every major public interest awards gala celebration. And I know, because I've been at most of these, the difference is I drove about 3 blocks, and Tom and Mary drove 3.5 hours from Rock Island. And I don't know of any member of the judiciary, state or federal, who has demonstrated such support for our public interest community as Justice Tom Kilbride. And I know from attending these galas, and I have chaired, along with Karen, probably a half a dozen or more of them, Tom's support as a member of the Illinois Supreme Court has been so important to all of us. And once again, we're just blessed to have Tom here, along with Mary. I know they drove 3.5 hours to be here with us tonight, but Tom and Mary, we really, really appreciate your support of the public interest community in Chicago and throughout the state over the last 20 years. And please join me in giving Tom and Mary a big hand. Good applause.
Well, thank you for that introduction. And some of you smart Alecks are going to look on your phone and Google it and see it's 2.5 hours to get back to the Quad Cities. And it is driving home tonight now, but when you drive up here during rush hour, it adds another hour to the trip. And I'm going to be real quick. These comments were primarily put together by Terry, and I've kind of modified it a little bit. And I'm going to keep to my actual 2 minutes that I was allotted. So I thought you might find that was funny, but I want to thank everybody for joining in the celebration, and congratulations to the Aleo for this extraordinary accomplishment. I had just begun my 20-year tenure on the Illinois Supreme Court when Legal Aid was founded and began 20 years ago, and Kimball mentioned my retirement, and it wasn't exactly a voluntary retirement for those of you who know about the politics of things, but that's the way life is. Some people say we were proud to be using fax machines back then, and we did use fax machines. I don't think they ever got hacked, for what it's worth, and no one has ever accused the state court system of being an early adopter of technology. And I was actually, with Jeff Coleman, a proud recipient of an Aleo Early Adopter Award, but guess what? It wasn't for my emerging technology capabilities. It was because we had launched in 2012 the Illinois Supreme Court Commission on Access to Justice. And around that time, and it's still a problem to this day, less than 40% of those in Illinois who qualified for legal aid were actually able to get a live, living lawyer to represent them. There were and are still too few legal aid lawyers in the state. At that time, it was 600 in the state, with 90,000 registered lawyers in the entire state. The rural areas of the state had the greatest unmet need with less than 200 legal aid lawyers outside of Chicago. Now, I started my practice back in 1981 in the Quad Cities during the Second Great Depression in the United States at that time. And there is still an access to justice crisis that I learned about, a justice gap, back when I worked as a legal aid lawyer. And decades later, and despite the great work of the Commission and ALEO, et cetera, the crisis still exists. And the pandemic has made things worse today than it was before. People with fewer resources have even fewer assets to access. We know that justice is the scariest for those who need it the most. And we as lawyers have a real gift. We are privileged to hold a license to our legal system. And it's a worthy and noble profession. It's our responsibility to use that privilege to make our system accessible. This is the time for us to act. More lawyers by itself will not solve the crisis. We need solutions that scale and transform, solutions like the ALEO program. And I want to thank you for supporting the ALEO's vision of a just society where all people can live safe and secure and equal lives. Thank you very much, and if you don't see me hanging around, we're going to get in the car and drive home. Thank you.
Thank you, Justice Kilbride. For those of you who are still here and still online listening, thank you. Thank you for bearing with our longer program than we had planned. For those who may not know me, my name is Terry Ross. I'm ALEO's Executive Director. On behalf of ALEO and the people that we serve, we are deeply grateful for you joining us tonight, in person and virtually. Thank you to everyone who made this celebration possible, ALEO's boards, our staff, volunteers, donors, and each one of you. I want to thank again our justice and equity sponsors, Kimball and Karen Anderson, Kirkland and Ellis, Loeb and Loeb, Quilling Sealander, Reed Smith, Roundtable Group, Shuckett and Associates, the Sidley Austin Foundation, Simpson Thacker, Kaplan Hecker and Fink, and Latham and Watkins. And to all of our other sponsors, thank you. Thank you for shining a light for justice despite the pandemic. As you join ALEO in shining that light, you are in company with hundreds of stakeholders who partner with us to ensure that everyone gets the justice and the possibilities that they deserve. I am continuously humbled by the dedication of our staff, our boards and volunteers, and the generosity of our donors and sponsors, but none more so than the people that ALEO helps each day. Those who are fighting to keep their homes, feed their families, expand their opportunities, and improve their lives. The people we help inspire us. These are people like Dee, who used our tools to get a default judgment against her overturned when she missed court last month. She told us, quote, "You are a blessing. I have been working for days trying to figure out what to do, and this did it. What a relief." Your support gives peace of mind to people like Dee each day. And thanks to your generosity, we have raised well over $500,000 this evening. And that makes this, by far and away, our highest grossing benefit ever in the history of the organization. So thank you. And if you still have a drink, I'd like to do a brief toast in honor of our 20th anniversary. Please raise your glasses in honor of you and those who are helped by your generosity. Here's to all of us working towards justice together. I'll turn it over to Chris to wrap it up.
Bravo, Terry. Thank you so much. Thank you for your leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. Yeah, that's right. Give Terry a hand. So, thank you once again. Just a little bit of cleanup, and then dessert is coming out. I believe there's a glass blowing demonstration as well, so cool stuff. And I was spying dessert around the corner. You definitely, Justice Kilbride, you might want to delay that ride for a little bit. The sugar will speed you back to the Quad Cities, all right? If you donated to Fund a Need tonight and you haven't done so already, please complete your payment now by responding to the text that you would have received immediately thereafter. You can also make a donation anytime by texting ILAO to 243725. That's a little bit different one than I gave earlier, so it's just ILAO to 243725, or by going to the ever so popular ILAO website at www.illinoislegalaid.org/donate. So each day we celebrate the strength and the courage of those who ILAO serves. Through your contributions here tonight, you have impacted people's lives. They are people you will never meet. But they are especially the parents, the workers, the renters who wake up at 3 a.m. feeling anxious, worried, and in despair. People who can't wait until 9 a.m. when an office opens. People who reach for their cell phone in the dark and find ILAO because of your generosity. I can't stress that enough. With your support, ILAO is there for them 24/7. At all hours of the day, every day of the week. Thank you for helping to shine a light for justice to underserved Illinoisans. Enjoy the rest of the program. Now, Alexa, you've got a bag in your hand. Are we awarding that to somebody? All right, come on up here then. Let's hear it for Alexa Marco. Alexa, Terry, you're being...
My partner in crime has to come up too. Last January, I had a phone call with Kimball and asked him to share the benefit along with Karen. And he said, yes, but only if it can be an in-person event outdoors. So I called Terry, and I'm like, Terry, Kimball and Karen are going to share the benefit. But there's a caveat. We have to have the event outdoors. And what if it rains? We have to find a venue that has an indoor space too. That is not really easy to find in Chicago. I came across this amazing venue, and after the program you can go up to the rooftop deck for a beautiful view of Chicago's skyline. Working with Kimball and Karen has been both an honor and a privilege. They are amazing people, so generous, wonderful leadership. It truly has been such a magical experience. And I'll miss my calls from Kimball. So if Kimball and Karen would come to the stage one more time, we have. A small token of appreciation.
Oh, thank you. Is it a billiards table?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was our privilege and honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you're on the ILAO board, will you please come up here? We want to take a group photo.